It's time for a new kitchen from Kitchen Designs. Kitchen Designs in Panama City Beach and Santa Rosa Beach offers full-service cabinets, countertops, and flooring, plus cash and carry cabinets available the very next day. Kitchen Designs has been family-owned and operated for over 20 years. Visit their showroom at 7934 Front Beach Road and on Lynn Drive in Santa Rosa Beach. Or call Kitchen Designs, 850-775-4150.
I've been in the sports industry for 25 years as a coach, worked with thousands of young athletes, and been fortunate to win multiple national championships. What truly amazes and saddens me after all these years is how many of the problems we see center around parents making youth sports unpleasant for young athletes, coaches, officials, and fans. I've recently partnered with a nonprofit company that prioritizes what is really important in youth sports: kids, conduct at games, and coach education. It's time for a change. Check out trustedcoaches.org.
Hi, I'm Chad Greenway. After retiring from the NFL, I've embraced my new role coaching my kids. Coaches may have the biggest impact on a young person's life. Unfortunately, youth sports are littered with coaches that are focused on the wrong things. That's why it's so important that parents can trust who's coaching their kids. Can you trust your child's youth coach? Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to utilize trusted coaches to train, screen, and educate all of our basketball coaches. Go to trustedcoaches.org to learn more. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Are you ready?
Okay, let's begin.
Drip. The Afternoon Underdog Drip. Live and local. Inside the Talk House.
Unleash the Dragon.
On the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
And what is going on, Northwest Florida? You're now tuned into ESPN Northwest Florida, riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes, along with a full crew today. We've got AG, that's Adam Goff, also known as Fano. We've got Chef Ross cooking it up with us today, and Caveman Rick on the ones and the twos. And this is the number one sports station in the Panhandle. Chop on, Braves fans, and you can keep listening for more ways to win. We're going to have an opportunity for you on the Inside Drive tomorrow. I believe Ryan is going to be doing some trivia as well. I think our setups are going to be different. I don't remember exactly how it is he's doing it. I know for Friday, we're basically going to keep the phone lines open for the entire day. We're going to get you to call in, and you've got to answer as many trivia questions about the Braves as you can in a row. And if you get up to 10, then we'll stop it right there, and we'll see if anyone else can match 10. And if so, we'll figure out something at that point, because the game is going to be on June 28th. So that gives you a week to kind of prepare for what it is that you guys are going to be doing. But you can also listen to the Coach James Hale Show on Monday. We've got a family 4-pack then. And then again tomorrow on the Inside Drive, Friday on the Afternoon Underdogs. That is brought to you by PCB Hobby, Fairfield, Hampton Inn on Thomas Drive, and Home to Sweets. So thank you guys for riding along with us this afternoon. At 5 o'clock, we're going to dive into some superstitions, and I want to look at it from two different perspectives. From the fan perspective, ourselves, and maybe even in our former athletic lives, if we had any little superstitions. And if it wasn't in sports, then whatever. If you had any little tick or whatever, I'd like to hear about it, and you guys can share that with us. 850-215-6290. And we also have a list. I've got like 25 that I found on the internet that are pretty good, of fans from around the country. And then also we've got 10 athletes, notable athletes, one very notable athlete that I had no idea, and then that he did this particular thing, and then also a very disgusting one.
A couple
as well.
Disgusting ones.
A couple disgusting, but one I would say really takes the cake, if you will. And I think that was a pretty good pun that I didn't intend there, but when we get to 5 o'clock, maybe I'll revisit that. So yeah, 850-215-6290. Last night, I don't know what time it was, but the passing of Willie Mays, one of the greats, got it. if you don't have him in your top 5 list, now for us, it's a little bit harder, especially for myself, not being able to actually witness him. I think that with the recency bias, it's tough, but he's absolutely one of the best to ever play the game, passing away at the age of 93. And it's amazing. I was reading an article, and you don't think about this very often, but Willie Mays is known for, among many other things, the catch, right? How many great catches have we seen in baseball?
Oh, tons.
A ton, right? And the fact that moniker hasn't kind of been reused or whatever, I think is very impressive. And it just goes to show, he was a 5-tool ball player and still one of the most notable players in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, rest in peace to him. Thoughts and prayers, obviously, to his family and close friends. And, in baseball, baseball lost one of its ambassadors, right? Willie Mays, everybody talks about the catch. Everybody talks about, him being 7 years after Jackie breaks the color barrier.
Yeah. That's another thing that doesn't get talked about a lot either, right? Is the time in which he was doing all of these things.
Right. And part of that time was, the military service, right? Because he comes up, wins Rookie of the Year, going away, and then he went away for 2 years. Right. So, think about what his numbers would be right now had he played those 2 years.
Yeah.
And you can say that for a lot of folks, right? It's not just Willie. Look at Ted Williams.
Look at Calvin Ridley. It's a joke.
But look at somebody like Ted Williams, right?
Yeah.
Or Joe DiMaggio when they went into the service, and when the country needed them. And, you think about what kind of numbers they could have put up nowadays. But, you look at somebody like Willie Mays, who wasn't a very big guy. He wasn't this just, larger than life human being. He was rather average in terms of his body and his build, but the dude was just absolutely a goat. Over 600 home runs, carries a 300 average, phenomenal fielder, great stolen base leader. And then the fact that he was able to, once his career was over, he was able to connect to the newer generations, right? And show them how the game should be played.
Right.
And everybody talks about his connection with, Barry Bonds, right?
Godfather.
Because it's his godfather, right? And everybody, say what you want to about Barry Bonds and his steroids and all that other stuff. I don't think we have the same career for Barry Bonds had Willie Mays not been there every step of the way.
Yeah.
I watched an interview with Ken Griffey Jr. Last night on MLB Network talking about Willie Mays and what he meant for his career. And, Junior knew him when he was a child, playing, while his dad, Ken Griffey Sr., played for the Reds and stuff. And, and what he meant to the game can't be understated. And the fact that he's on, including my own, as far as like Mount Rushmore of baseball players. And I never watched a game of his a day in my life. But the fact that we know that he belongs on there speaks volumes to what he did on the field, but what he did off the field as well can't be understated.
Absolutely. Anything to add to that, Caveman Rick?
Like you guys were mentioning, the catch. He's known for that, right? And using terminology like that. We have one play like that in football, right?
Yeah.
Joe Montana to Dwight Clark. That'll always be that name. It'll never change. It's one of those plays where you say that, what everybody's talking about. So, just like AG said, and kind of an ambassador, just a big, name in the game, godfather to Barry Bonds and such. So, a lot of history there. A player that a lot of people are going to miss. Like you said, recency bias. I never seen him play either. Know the name, even the references. Hell, even in Major League, you got Willie Mays Hayes.
Yeah.
So, where'd he get the name? He said he can catch like Hayes, right?
Yeah.
So, there you go. So, just using that for a reference in a movie like that, it's pretty iconic, too. It just goes to show you, how big of an icon that person is. So, yeah, sad day, but he died at 93. Had a great life, a lot of great experiences. Can't say that I'm, terribly sad. Like I said, just a good man, and, it was his time.
Chef Ross, how do you follow up that?
I don't know. I think the article that Ryan read this morning on the Inside Drive described it perfectly, how he made kids feel like adults and adults feel like kids again. Mm-hmm. I know he was my dad's favorite player. Again, never saw him play. Know a lot of the catch, a lot of the Mays stats, and stories I've heard. How when my dad would go to the ballpark, his dad would buy him the big old popcorn. Willie Mays would do something huge, and Dad stands up, cheers, and the row in front of him is wearing the popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And just tomorrow, they're playing the Giants and the Cardinals are playing at Rick Wood Field, where Willie Mays 75 years ago played for the Birmingham Barons. And this is a very special game, right? It's Juneteenth today.
Stadium in the league, too,
yeah.
I believe, or in the country. That still works.
Yeah, and he was going to be honored at this game, and I think even due to health reasons, he wasn't actually going to be able to make it. So it's going to be even a bigger honor to some extent. Here we are it's Juneteenth today. They're playing the game tomorrow, June 20th. So again, happy Juneteenth. We're celebrating freedom, man. That's a big deal in this country, and it took a while, but here we are. So this is a big game between the Giants and the Cardinals, and it's sad that he passed away before it, but hey, I think that every year around this time we'll be remembering Willie Mays and all of the great things that he did for our sport that all of us here on this panel absolutely love.
And it gives me and AG another reason to not cheer for the Cardinals.
100%.
There you go. So it's Giants all the way today. Also, I was scrolling through Twitter today, and he was playing in an old timers game with the New York Mets at 50 years old. And he made a play, not to the same level, but for a 50-year-old man to run, it was probably 180 feet or so. I'm exaggerating, but still, at 50 years old, he still had it, and that was very impressive. So very great for the game of baseball, but also a sad day for baseball. But he was also, I think it was Buster Olney. How would you guys feel about an image of the catch replacing the MLB logo?
No, leave the logo the way it is. It's the same thing with Jerry West passing away. He is the logo, man. Like everybody talked about Kobe when he passed away, changing it, but no, it needs to stay the same.
Who is that on the baseball logo?
I don't think they ever had one person, because the thing is you can't tell, is that person batting right-handed or left-handed?
Yeah. Switch hitter.
Yeah, right.
There you go. All right. Well, I like the idea personally, just to, maybe it's something that you change up every 25 years or keep it the same. With the game of baseball, what is it that we love? Tradition. Keeping it the same. So from that standpoint, then I can agree with you there, AG. Just thought it was a cool idea.
Yeah.
100 things to know.
Real quick, talking about the logo, MLB logo. We were talking about Father's Day the other day too.
Yeah.
Those just plain MLB hats like the umps were wearing. That was pretty slick looking with just the MLB logo with that powder blue. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. I liked some of the hats. Some of the others I wasn't a big fan of. Like Rick's talking about the umpire hats, and those were good looking. I think any team that wore just a black hat with their logo that was baby blue looked great. I would say that the Baltimore Orioles had the best, in my opinion, of the ones I saw, the best Father's Day hats. You had like the Reds, the Nationals, and the Phillies. Those all kind of looked very similar.
Yeah, but the Phillies, man, they should have went with the maroon hat like, I usually wear a lot of times, and then go with that powder blue P.
So like the opposite of what it is that you're wearing right now.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think that'd be kind of a clean, slick look, something we never really done before. So I don't know why they didn't go that route.
But it is, I love Mother's Day and Father's Day during baseball, because the pink and the baby blue bats, I think they do a great job with that. 100 things to know about the NFL season. We're 78 days away. College football starts in 65. We're getting ready for FSU and Georgia Tech. But the thing to know for today, as we continue on through MVP odds, Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, plus 1,600 through a career high 36 touchdowns in 2023. Would you put 1,600? Would you put any amount of money on plus 1,600 for Dak? Do you believe that he can win the MVP? We'll start with you, Chef Ross.
I don't think he can win the MVP, especially in Dallas.
What about you, Rick?
So yesterday I was talking about things that I'd buy for $1.
Yeah.
I'm not buying this for $1. I wouldn't buy it for a penny. Dak as being the MVP, nah.
AG?
There's too many other better options out there. Is he a good quarterback? Yeah. Is he a great quarterback? No. But could he potentially get his team to the postseason? Absolutely. But he would need dominoes in front of him to fall before he was, put up there in that top three conversation.
Look at the numbers he put up this past year, and was he even in the top 5 MVP?
I don't know what top 5 voting was in the NFL MVP race last year. I'll say this. If they had a better run game going into this year, it's contract year, right? It's contract time for Dak Prescott, so he's got to show on and show out, or show up and show out. And I'm not expecting them to win the Super Bowl by any means. We know what's going to happen. First or second round exit for the Dallas Cowboys once again, if they make it to the postseason. Got to make it there. But I think that this is going to be a big year for Dak, but I think that he's going to be held back by the lack of a run game. So I could see him matching his.
Easy. They got Zeke, right?
They do, man. So I know. But I think even bringing Zeke back with who was their running back last year?
Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah, it was Pollard. Yeah, but I was thinking of the Kansas State. Yeah, Deuce Vaughn, because Pollard's over there with the Tennessee Titans. So with Deuce Vaughn, like, is that going to be a big enough, or is the balance going to be there for him? Because Deuce Vaughn can.
Yeah, good you changed that. Not big enough isn't a good term for Deuce Vaughn.
The biggest issue for the Cowboys isn't Dak Prescott. It's the fact that you have CeeDee Lamb in a contract year. You've got Micah Parsons in a contract year, or at least he's going to be after this season. You've got Dak in a contract year. They have no running game. Their offensive line is just getting older and older. So there's a lot more glaring issues on the Cowboys team than Dak Prescott.
You're pointing at the wrong direction, AG. The problem is Jerry Jones.
Obviously, but it's kind of what I'm alluding to.
He's at the top. He's the head guy. He's the meddlesome dude. He's the guy that said they were going all in there in this offseason. What'd they do? Oh, you signed Zeke. All in, really? And you didn't sign your quarterback, or you don't have any direction going in quarterback. Yeah. So it's just smoke, man, just words. And like I said yesterday, he doesn't care, good, bad, indifferent. As long as the Cowboys' names, is in the media and he's getting talked about, he's content. He's happy.
I still think that and last year, what did Dak say before the season? That he'll throw less than 10 interceptions and threw 10 interceptions. So I think that's impressive. I think he could have a better year an even better year this year. But I think without the run game, it'll keep him out of that MVP conversation.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so we'll talk about another. Actually, I think we might be moving on to a different little segment of the 100 Things to Know. But you guys should know to go to ESPNPC.com and click on the Best of Bay link there and go vote for the Coach James Hale Show or the Inside Drive or the Afternoon Underdogs. We would encourage you, I would say, as a show, to vote for the Inside Drive, right, for Ryan. I like that idea. But whoever you guys want to vote for is all good for us, as long as it is someone from ESPN Northwest Florida. And we got to throw our guy in there, Sam Peebles, as well, with the Braves Dugout podcast here. A live look in at the College World Series as they're going to the middle of the fourth, and Tennessee leads Florida State right now 5-0. Chef Ross, you had some issues with, maybe is it with the Florida State fans and their thoughts on the game from the first time that Florida State and Tennessee played?
I believe that, yes, that was a terrible call. But that call, missed strike 3, did not cost Florida State the game. You're in Omaha. You have a lead going into the 9th inning. Why is your closer still in the bullpen? You start your closer in the 9th. Mm-hmm. Okay, you give up the lead. It's a tie game. There's 2 outs. Why is your center fielder playing shallow? If your center fielder's at normal depth, that game-winning hit is out number 3. Yeah. You're batting in the 10th inning to still play the game. The bad coaching or the bad execution is what cost Florida State that game. They gave up 12 runs. How are you even in a ball game with 12 runs?
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of games with some high scoring in this year's College World Series, though, and it's been a lot of fun to watch. AG, what was your thoughts? And I do want to say this real quickly. My initial reaction, once you see the live pitch, not talking about any reviews, when I'm watching the live pitch, because I didn't even tune into that game until Tennessee. I was watching the majority of the beginning, or actually, no, probably about 6th, 7th inning. But then Florida State's taken off at that point in time. Then Tennessee starts marching back. So I'm like, okay, I need to tune into this. So I feel like I was probably 2 batters before this particular pitch here, and when I'm watching it live, I'm like, oh, he didn't go, he didn't go, And then when I watch the replay, it's like, oh yeah, he did go. But that's that's the game of baseball. If umpires were to get every single call right, and that's a judgment call at the end of the day. Now, if the bat goes, and Ryan was telling us this yesterday, Because I always was under the impression that it's if the bat breaks the plate, you know what I mean? But it's if the bat goes across your front hip. And so with that, I mean, he absolutely went. But, AG, what are your thoughts?
Just kind of like what Ross said, man. I mean, you gave up 12 runs, essentially. I mean, I understand that, majority of those runs, or not a majority, but a lot of those runs came after that particular check swing, if that's what you want to call it. But he went. There's no doubt about it. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's like putting another candle on top of the cake for FSU fans. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
How much more crap can they shove on top of that to just make FSU fans even more mad? Like, what was funny was Kirk Herbstreit tweeting about it.
Oh, no, I did not know that. What did he say?
He was just tweeting about, man, what a tough break, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Florida State.
I think it was Herbstreit, which I thought was kind of funny considering all the crap that he got from FSU fans. So
that's what I'm saying.
But yeah, I mean, it's baseball, man. I mean, there's my only gripe with review in baseball, and we're seeing it more and more this year, is the fact that you cannot review whether the ball was foul tipped or not, right? Which I think is kind of a weird ruling. You can't review check swings either. Right. I mean, again, that's a little bit different from a foul ball in my eye, because one is a judgment call, the other is not a judgment. Right. It either did or it didn't. And the same thing with, you can review a potential catcher's interference, but you can't review a potential foul ball.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't equate to me. So, but... Florida State's got another chance today. Right now they're down 5-0. Got to do better.
The other thing this reminds me of is the Bartman ball. The Cubs and all their fans blame Steve Bartman for losing that game, for losing that series.
Right.
That was Game 6. Mm-hmm. There was 3 errors made after that in that same game.
Yep.
As shortstop forgot how to field the ball.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I'm like, okay, huge win for FSU baseball. Oh, never mind. That's from when they beat North Carolina.
Is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, so
Starlin Castro?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that the shortstop?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Shortstop for
the Cubs.
Yeah. I just watched a little documentary on that as well. It's the second time that I've seen it, but kind of comparing the Bill Buckner situation with the Red Sox when he that was Game 6 as well. Like, they had another opportunity. So you can look at every single micro thing that you want to, but that's why we played 9 innings in the game.
Speaking of the check swing thing, last night the Dodgers got their win by a similar thing where Teoscar Hernandez check swing. They said he was safe, and then like the next pitch or two, he knocks one out the park, and then Dodgers came back from being down. I think it was like 6 or 7 runs in that game.
They scored 7 in the ninth inning. Yeah. Man, all of us want to see the Dodgers lose every single time that we can. Bud Black comes out, got thrown out of that game as well. I would have been fired up too.
A couple home runs in that game too, I think.
One of them was 467 or 476, longest home run in MLB this season. Which get back to pitching, Shohei. Come on now. When you're just focusing on one thing, it's absolutely ridiculous.
I still think Aaron Judge is a better hitter overall than Shohei.
Oh, he got hit by a pitch last night. I think that's not in a hot take world that we live in. I don't think that's a hot take. I think that there's some validity to it. Especially Aaron Judge has been doing this for a while now. Shohei Ohtani, 3? Well, no, it's been longer than that.
18 was his rookie year, so it was 6 years.
6 years. That's a fun conversation to have, I believe. But we don't have time for it right now. Probably won't have time for it today because we still got to find out, is Jason Tatum now a superstar in the eyes of the Boston Celtics fan, Adam Goff? You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Quick timeout. We will be right back.
For 7 years, ESPN Northwest Florida has been your destination on the Panhandle for the Atlanta Braves.
He just blew the doors off that thing.
But our listeners are the real MVP.
Another dominating performance.
So this year, we're giving away more tickets to Truist Park than ever before. Keep listening to win family 4-packs to experience the Atlanta Braves. From ESPN Northwest Florida, PCB Hobby, Pepsi, Fairfield, Hampton Inn on Thomas, and Home 2 Suites.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Wednesday. The rest of the day, some sun and 90 with a moderate breeze at 15 miles per hour out of the east. Tonight, mostly clear skies with lows around 76. Tomorrow, mostly sunny throughout the day with a low chance of sprinkles in the afternoon and evening and a temperature near 91. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Discover the new Kia during the Summer Sticker Sales event going on now at Bill Bird Kia. Our SUV family is built for all-in adventures and endless possibilities. Whether you're traveling on the highways or off-road, you'll do it with grace and grit. Now offering 1.9% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento or a new 2024 Kia Sportage. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. Now enjoy the view this summer because the road is yours in a brand new Kia from Bill Bird Kia.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento or new 2024 Kia Sportage with $2,165 per month per 1,000 financed in 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 7/8/24.
Now back to the most dangerous afternoon show on terrestrial radio.
It's dangerous.
It's illegal in 5 states. The Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back into the doghouse. This is the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 right here in Panama City and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm David Hayes along with AG, Chef Ross, and Caveman Rick. And the Braves got a big win last night, 2-1. They won game 1 of that series 2-1, game 2 of that series 2-1, and then Schwellenbach got his first win last night. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits given up, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. And then they come out today and they're facing Tariq Skubal, who's a great pitcher for the Tigers this year. And honestly, I was almost going to go bet on the Tigers today because it's like, I just, Reynaldo Lopez is going for the Braves. He's had a great season, 1.57 ERA after
lower
today.
now.
Yeah, well, after today, it's 1.57 because I don't know if he's got enough innings yet, but otherwise it would be Suarez from the Phillies, who's at
Ranger.
Ranger Suarez. I was going to say Roberto for some reason. 1.74, 1.77 is Suarez's ERA there. So they're going to be in a battle for the rest of the season. We'll see how it plays out. Obviously, we're still early into the season. As much as it feels like we've played a lot of baseball, there's still a ton left to go. And then the Braves get the win and the sweep today, 7-0. Sean Murphy with 2 2-run home runs, and Ramon Laureano getting in on the action with a home run of himself, which I just found out today or yesterday that when the Braves get a new player, when someone comes to the Braves via trade or waivers, or if I don't know if he does it when they come up from AAA or AA, but he gets them a new bat, which I thought was pretty cool. One of those kind of team bonding things, and then he hits a home run to kind of help that sluggish offense. It's been very sluggish lately, and 2-1, 7-0. That doesn't necessarily 7-0 sounds good, but 2-1 doesn't necessarily show that the offense is trending in the right direction. But we still got a lot of ball left to play.
I thought you were going to bring up hazing.
Hazing?
Bringing them up, from like it comes to a new team and blah, blah, blah. And,
There you go. That's full, man. If Marcell Ozuna had a story like that come out, I don't know if he would be. I don't know how the Braves would get rid of him at this point with the season that he's having. But there was even fans, I believe, at Truist last night, if I'm not mistaken, who had, because the whole DUI situation, domestic violence situations that he's had. And so there's a lot of Atlanta Braves fans who are not a big fan of him. And I feel like if you had that stance on Marcell Ozuna, you are entirely entitled to that. You know what I mean? It makes sense. Now, from the things that I've read, and I don't know this, I wasn't in the room. It was a little back and forth with his wife, which does not make it right at all. But end of the day, I'm not here to talk about semantics and what, people's lives. I'm here to talk about what they do on the field, And so with that, Marcell Ozuna's having a great season, but there's been fans who have they'll wave flags of pictures of his mugshot and whatnot when he's at the stadium. So there's a lot of Braves fans who aren't a big fan of him. And again, if that's your stance on it, I totally get it, understand it, and keep on flying those flags. I mean, I'm cool with it as long as he keeps on hitting like that. That's good. And from the clubhouse perspective, the team seems to love him. So I think at the end of the day, for a franchise, that's crucial. AG, your Celtics get it done. Mm-hmm. Blowout game in Game 5. Jason Tatum does not win the Finals MVP. It goes to Jaylen Brown. Now, first, let's start there. Who deserved the Finals MVP? Did it go to the right guy?
Yeah, absolutely. Jaylen Brown, 100%. He's the best player on the team. I mean, I understand Jason Tatum's first team All-NBA again this year, but Jaylen Brown is the motor that makes that team go. Jason Tatum is a very, very good player. He's a great player. He's still not a superstar yet. He's not. I mean, if he had been the one to put that team on his back and put up the kind of numbers that Jaylen Brown did and have the impact that Jaylen Brown did, I'd say he earned that moniker. But I still, to this day, I mean, I don't feel like he is a top 10 player in the league at this point.
So weren't Tatum's numbers greater than Brown's in the finals?
No, I don't believe so.
I saw on ESPN yesterday that first take that he had 1 or 2 more points, and
I'm trying to look that. All right, so here we go. 4 minutes, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, 40.2 for Tatum, 38.5 for Jaylen Brown. Very important stat right there. Points, 22.2 for Tatum, 20.8 for Brown, 7.8 rebounds for Tatum, 5.4 for Jaylen Brown, 7.2 assists for Tatum, 5 for Jaylen Brown, and then 1 steal for Jason Tatum compared to 1.6 for Jaylen Brown, and blocks, Jaylen Brown led at 0.8, Jason Tatum 0.6. So, and then Jason Tatum also had 3.2 turnovers. Compared to 2.8 for Jaylen Brown, 38.8 from the field for Tatum, 44% for Jaylen Brown. So I think that is one of those where you can kind of flip the coin, if you will. Mm-hmm. But I think I would like to say that, and this ties right into your point, some of the bigger shots were made by Jaylen Brown. And I think that's what the
impact, it's the moments, right? And I mean, when we think of a superstar in the finals, are we thinking of a 22-point performance on average, or are we thinking in the 30s?
Yeah.
Historically, right? I mean, you think of, obviously you can't compare him to, Jordan and Kobe and LeBron, but you can still have him in that echelon of, or try to get him into that echelon of, okay, well, he was the one that was the driver in this, right? Mm-hmm. What was it, Game 3, I think it was? They were up 21 points, or was it Game 4? Game 4, maybe? No, Game 3.
Game 4 is when
we got
Dallas
blown out.
Waxed.
Well, we took a day off.
Yeah.
but it was Game 3.
Did y'all do that to win it in Boston, you think?
What?
Do you think that
absolutely,
the Celtics,
100%.
You think they did that?
Absolutely, 100%.
How do you feel about that as a sports
I'm fine
fan?
with it. Have at it, yeah.
Okay.
Take a day off, enjoy it, get rested, get healthy, get Kristaps back in there.
Yeah.
But sorry, I got sidetracked.
Oh no, yeah, my bad.
But
talking about Game 3, I believe.
Game 3, so they were up 21 points in the fourth quarter, and then what happens? Tatum turnover, and then all of a sudden, Luka starts making shots. And then they start getting back in it, and then they end up taking the lead, and the Celtics have to come back to take the lead. And Tatum made a big shot inside of that, but you're up 21 points in the fourth quarter. Why is your foot not on the gas? That's where I think we don't have that killer instinct from Jason Tatum that we've seen out of some of these other superstars that are out there. They're just put their foot on your neck and just go to town. And a lot of folks have said that because of the team that was built around Tatum and Brown, that he doesn't have to do all that. Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. But you're going to tell me that Jordan didn't have to score 36 points a game when he had Dennis Rodman and Scottie Pippen and, that whole bevy, Ron Harper, all those guys? No, he did. He did it. They won, and he's Jordan because of it.
Yeah, there you go.
Question for you, AG. I brought this up the other day. Do you think that, the Celtics were, for lack of a better term, playing with their food in Game 4? The way they got their butts handed to them? Because, they shouldn't have lost that game.
No.
And, just so that they can win on home court?
Oh, 100%. The Celtics are notorious for playing with their food.
That's horrible, man. Like I said,
we were just talking about that.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, just using that terminology and stuff and putting it that way and that bluntly. But yeah, I don't. For that, they should have lost in my book.
Well, the thing is
you don't deserve to win.
Well, they did. 18 world titles. But yeah, they did. 100%.
Not world titles. So, I hate when sports say that because they weren't playing basketball teams.
It is a world championship.
There's a team in Canada.
It's a world, and it's the best players in the world come to play in that league.
That wasn't the all case back in the 50s and stuff, in the 60s, even the 70s. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of it's an exaggeration.
Okay, so it's no longer the World Series then in your eyes too?
Kind of, sort of, because we're only playing here. It should be called the
American Series?
The MLB Championship. Why they always got to grandiose things? The world this, the world
why
that.
Wouldn't they?
The world's not involved with it. It's us.
I don't know. When it comes to Major League Baseball, maybe it could be. Well,
we're not playing the teams of the world. That's the Olympics.
Fair, but all of the best players of the world come here to play the sports.
Championship, NBA championship. It's like Stanley Cup. They don't say it's the World Championship of hockey. It's the Stanley Cup.
All right.
I'm just saying, dude. Let's call it what it is. It's the Super Bowl. It's not a world championship. You won the Super Bowl.
But Kelsey just called that the world championship as well on his podcast this morning.
But who cares what he called it? Right is right, wrong is wrong. But
this isn't a right or wrong is wrong type deal, though.
It's just the name of it.
I don't like it.
Rice Taker says, "Caveman doing his best. Get off my lawn."
Right.
All of that. I've had a problem with that for years, even when I was a kid. Why are they calling it World Championship when you're not playing the world? It's kind of it's kind of a farce.
Well, I guess my opinion, my take on that would be that the best players in the world come here. You're never going to hear the MLS come out and say, this is the World Soccer Championship, right? Because the best players in the world don't come here. They go over there.
They do. Lionel Messi came here.
At the tail end of his career.
Yeah, he had a huge tax bill coming to him, too.
Yeah, but he's still here, though.
He is still here. Does he think that do you think, Caveman Rick, that the best players in the world are in that league?
For the most part, yes. I think there's some people that can't get here, though. There's some, remember how Yasiel Puig got here and his story?
Cuba to Mexico and then...
Yeah, but on a raft and stuff floating over here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, not everybody can come here and play just because you're good at something.
Well, there's very few countries that I know of anyways that you'd have to defect from and come over. Like Japan even, though.
Very technical, but I'm just saying,
Japan, you have to play a certain amount of years in the MPB before you can come over. There's a guy who's playing for Stanford next year who actually found a way to get that waived or whatever, and so he can come over to play college baseball, and apparently he mashes. So
well, the thing is he's got to play 3 years, right, in college.
Yeah.
And then he's eligible to be drafted. So the biggest difference is he's not eligible for that international money.
Mm-hmm.
So, but at the same time, though, teams are rewarded from that because now you're getting what we think is a great, Japanese ball player, but you're not going to have to pay them the international money, and you're not going to have to pay whatever team owns the rights to them to get them over here. Because that's always the big thing is, okay, yeah, you can sign a Jung-Hoo Lee for, or a Imanaga for, 18, 19, $20 million a year, but
you don't get them until.
But you don't get them until then, and then you also got to pay his team this stipend or whatever you want to call it.
And what happens if he gets injured or doesn't kind of turn into that player that you expect him
You're
to
still
over
on the
there?
hook.
Right, exactly.
Right. So I like that the Japanese players are starting to find that loophole. It doesn't benefit them financially in terms of what they can get from the word jump, but it gets them in the game quicker.
Yeah. I love how Caveman kicks babies. I don't think there's any. Oh wait, I said I don't think there's any truth to that. He kind of shrugged his shoulders, like, well, you never know.
Depends on the baby.
Hey, that's what politicians need to start doing, right? Instead of going around kissing babies, just go around kicking them.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, I don't know necessarily that, but like I said, like, hey, nothing's out of the realm of possibility, man. It all depends on the situation, I guess.
Is that the South Park movie?
What's that?
Baby?
Oh, I would not put it past them.
It's one of the South Parks. I don't remember if it was an episode or that.
It was South Park. Don't kick the baby.
Oh, yeah, the kick the baby. It's Ike, man. It's the Canadian baby.
Yeah,
man.
okay, yeah. I remember that now.
Head like Terrence and Phillip, man.
Because I watched the latest South Park movie from 2024, which is just absolutely. I was like, this is a masterpiece. You know, it's always really good, but what they did with that one was kind of take every single problem or issue that's going on with the world right now and just put it all into one 50-minute movie. So it's basically like 2 South Park episodes at that point. And the little scene where they've got the cart or the cereal characters and they're in that like gun shootout. Oh man, absolutely hilarious. Don't get them started on Mr. Universe, right? State Chris says. What is Mr. Universe? Is that like a?
That's like bodybuilding.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger and like guys like Lou Ferrigno, the guy that played Incredible Hulk. They were like in competitions like that. Yeah, I guess he's saying because it's like Mr. Universe, like where there's only planet Earth, right? Mr. Earth. That's what he's getting at. So touche, Chris. Good one. But still, I would argue that too. It's not Mr. Universe.
It's
Mr. World or something.
Mr. Earth.
Yeah, or like a guy like, I think there's another guy named Serge Nubret, a French black guy that was like really like big into that kind of stuff back in the day.
So do you hate America's Got Talent because they bring in foreign acts too?
Then they shouldn't call it America's Got Talent.
They do.
You know, just saying.
Do they when they have it like I know that they use that show in other countries? Is it still called?
No, it's Britain's Got Talent.
Okay,
or whatever.
I was gonna say, what if it was America's Got Talent UK version?
Like America's Got Foreigners.
Yeah. That's kind of the beauty of this country, isn't it?
Well, things keep going the way they're going. It might not. It might shut
Is this the Coach James Hale show?
No, we're not talking about Alabama.
I think I can rip this up now.
Yeah, we can. Oh, my goodness. All right, we are going to take a little break here and reset. 850-215-6290. Call or text us. We'll be right back.
Maybe.
America's team plays here.
And a rocket to right field. This thing is into orbit.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida. Acuna, Ozzie, and Austin Riley lead the Braves' high-powered offense.
Swung on, belted, deep right field. Get out of here, Ozzie. Home run. Ball game.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida is sponsored by Brock's Pest Control. Store more portable buildings, reliable hydraulic solutions. Billburn Kia and Mid-South Lumber.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Wednesday. The rest of the day, some sun and 90 with a moderate breeze at 15 miles per hour out of the east. Tonight, mostly clear skies with lows around 76. Tomorrow, mostly sunny throughout the day with a low chance of sprinkles in the afternoon and evening and a temperature near 91. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumberyard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
At Brock Lawn and Pest Control, we're proud to be awarded the distinction of being Quality Pro certified.
Our technicians have passed rigorous training in eco-friendly application and prevention of pest treatments.
Part of the program is the practice of integrated pest management.
IPM's goal is to prevent pests from ever entering your home. It includes inspection, prevention, education, and when necessary, application.
We're proud to be Quality Pro certified.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, the standard and level of trust.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM, or call us at 850-851-0453.
From the pros to the future pros, we're your home team station for home team sports. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back. I'm David Hayes along with AG. We've got Chef Ross and we've got Caveman Rick. If you see Caveman Rick out and about, just go give him a hug. Give him a hug and hopefully he won't kick your baby along the way.
I don't say unless you're a baby.
I love it, man. I love it.
No, I love kids, man. I got 3 grandkids. Don't get me wrong. I got a son.
Just depends on the baby.
But yeah, like I said, I'm just, hey, you never know. You never know.
Caveman would be the one who would go like to a hospital or whatever. Like, I ain't hugging that baby. Are you kidding me? Look at that thing. It's ugly. I've never heard of.
I did EMS and I had to do a couple stints in like the maternity ward and stuff. And I will say this: I know a lot of parents. Like I was a parent, right? Yeah, you love your kids, man. You think they're the most precious thing. All babies when they came out, they're all ugly, dude. They all look like little aliens, man, with a misshapen head. So, like, I get it's your kid, and you're like, oh, Junior's beautiful looking, but that's because it's your kid, man. And I don't know, like...
Temper your expectations.
Just saying, man.
850-215-6290. Let's have a conversation with Rick today.
Everybody, we'll give out Rick's phone number, and everybody takes pictures of their babies to Rick.
No, but you can't.
Hey, you know what? I will critique them, and I'll send them right back to you.
That baby's nose is too big.
No, because, like, you ever seen online, there's a guy, he'll take, like, a bunch of kids, like, artwork from, like, like in kindergarten or first grade, and then he'll critique it and have, like, some smart-ass comment, a caption for every picture.
Yeah.
Send me your kids' pictures. I'll do the exact same thing. All right? And you know what? Maybe I'll charge a nominal fee.
It's like, what's that? Cameo, except for totally different. Like, here, let me critique your baby. Tell you what he's going to need to do to be a little bit better looking. Our trivia question for today is, what is the only university to have the #1 overall pick in the NFL and NBA drafts in the same year? This isn't a very tough one because I asked the panel this today, and you guys kind of knew it off rip. I believe we've also asked this question like a year or two ago here. So trying to help you guys get a $25 gift card to not the, but that boot store and a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock. I've got a good one on Eminem as well, and a lyric that he had in one of his songs from 1999, Just Don't Give a F. But I'm waiting on that one. I just don't know if if the majority of our listening base would remember the lyrics of Eminem or even ever really listen to him.
I think they would.
I think they would.
Maybe not everybody, but I mean, there's a fair amount of people I think that
you just need one, Dave.
You just need one.
And it's a sports reference as well, too.
Yeah.
It ties it in,
Right State Chris says, send an ugly baby, but put it in a Philadelphia jersey.
So it'd be uglier.
An ugly baby, man. Like, just dressing it up, it's not going to make a difference.
But in the Kelly Green, though, it would change his mind.
I got one thing that might be different now, man. You put a newborn that, like, say this Philadelphia Flyers literally just won the Stanley Cup, and they put, like, a newborn that was just born in the Stanley Cup, and I'm still elated from the Flyers winning. I wouldn't have a problem with that. That might be the one instance, right?
But that baby didn't win the Stanley Cup, so how's it touching the Stanley Cup?
I don't know how people feel about that. I, for one, if I was given the opportunity to hold the Stanley Cup, I would deny. I would say no. Because the belief is in hockey, you don't touch the damn thing unless you win it. Even though I don't play hockey and I never played organized ice hockey, there's still that reverence. I still love hockey enough. I didn't earn it. I didn't deserve to touch it. So hands off. I can't touch it.
I truly believe that he would be that way.
100%. 100%.
Now, if I got the opportunity to touch it,
I would want to, and
I would.
It would take every grain of my soul, I think, to not do it. It'd be tough, but I got enough in me to hold back. I'm sure I do.
I don't care what liquid isn't. Well, maybe certain liquids I wouldn't, but for the most part, I'm drinking out of that thing.
There you go. What is the only university to have the #1 overall pick in the NFL and NBA drafts in the same year? 850-215-6290. All right, let's dive into some of these other topics that we had today. Well, for my Indiana Pacers, they signed, they've got a deal set with Pascal Siakam for a max deal here, 4 years, $189.5 million, and he intends to sign that when they can sign their contracts on July 6th. I'm actually really excited about the Pacers for the first time in a long time. Obviously, this season was a beautiful thing to watch from the Pacers. exceeding their expectations, but now they've got Tyrese Halliburton locked up till 2029, Pascal Siakam till 2028. The problem is yes, we're in a era of basketball right now where you need at least 2 superstars. I wouldn't really consider either one of these guys superstars, but superstars for the Indiana Pacers, though, right? Like that's superstardom for the Indiana Pacers. How are you gonna fill in, bring depth with the amount of money that we're paying those guys?
Well, you're seeing a different generation of basketball being played at the NBA, right? It used to be 3 stars. And then we're going to plug some holes here and there with some role players, and we're going to take our chances, right? And hope that our stars are going to be the ones that get us over the hump, right? Now you're seeing it's a 2-man show filled with much better role players.
Yeah.
Because they can afford them, right? I mean, like you saw, Brad Stevens making all those moves with the Celtics. He knew he had Tatum and Brown. Okay, let's go get a Kristaps Porzingis that's a throwaway that nobody else wanted, and let's put him in this role. Let's go get Al Horford back on this roster, and have him be that kind of glue guy. A White getting White in there. So
old Chippy.
So you see these teams are starting to develop this kind of similar build, right? And for the Pacers, man, what the Pacers need is they need a couple just knockdown shooters, right? Because you've got Siakam, who's your clutch guy. He's your go-to guy. He's your tough as nails. You've got Halliburton, who's fast as lightning, can shoot, can dribble, can pass. They need somebody on the outside that's able to knock down those open shots, or 2 people primarily.
Yeah.
And I don't know who those guys are right now. I'd have to look at the free agency list and things like that and see who's available. But that's what I would see as the Pacers' biggest need, is somebody that can knock down that open shot.
I say go get Drew Holiday.
No, you're not getting Drew Holiday from the Celtics.
Hold on. His first year in Milwaukee, they won the title.
Yeah.
His first year in Boston, they win the title. Go get Drew Holiday, win the title.
I don't know if the Pacers are legit. I mean, Eastern Conference Finals run this year, but there was also injuries to the Milwaukee Bucks that kind of helps them in that situation. Same way with the Knicks. And then you run into the force that was the Boston Celtics. So and Tyrese Halliburton. Then the Pacers started dealing with injuries at that point in time. So and they also led the league in scoring last year, but they also gave up more points than anyone else. So I would like to see a little bit more defense added there, and then a nice wing shooter who could knock down the 3. I think every team in the league could use someone like that. LSU.
Klay Thompson be available.
Honestly, if I was playing a video game, then yeah, I would love Klay Thompson on the Pacers. In real life, not at this point. Yeah,
he's past his prime.
But 3 or 4 years ago, yeah, that would have been phenomenal. We'll go over to the phone line. We've got LSU Jeff. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. You playing some trivia with us?
Sure.
All right. What is the only university to have the number 1 overall pick in the NFL and NBA drafts in the same year?
I'm gonna have to guess it's the Florida Gators.
Ooh. That is a great guess, but it's actually incorrect, my friend. It was not the Florida Gators, but that's not a bad pick. I don't know if I believe they are, but there's only 10 schools that have ever had just throughout all time a number 1 pick in the NFL and in the NBA.
One of those coaches ended up coaching in Florida. One of the coaches from The Answer ended up coaching in Florida.
In Florida.
For the Gators.
Wow, that's crazy. I can't even think of what that would be. See, I was thinking, was it 06 or 08 when the Gators, Tebow was on top, right? That's what I was going along the lines of. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, but great guess there, LSU Jeff. How's everything been going for you, man? Who do you think ends up winning the College World Series?
Tennessee. I hate to say it. Yeah. I hate to see it, but Tennessee. They're too strong. The other side of the bracket was weak, and it's sad for Florida State. Talk about kicking babies. I mean, Georgia, kicked Florida State in football, and now we got Tennessee. I don't know if it's 5-0 still, but
yeah, it is.
Now Florida State's getting kicked by Tennessee, and they keep on running into SEC teams that are on their path to to greatness,
So,
and I think that, I don't think that Texas A&M is going to have the answer, but you never know,
who do you want to see Tennessee, or who do you think Tennessee will be taking on, A&M or Florida?
A&M. Florida Gators just don't have the juice. If you watched what the Seminoles did to the Gators, I mean, that just says in it right there. We're looking at the Final Four, and the Gators are the weakest of all four of them.
Yeah, but I think, aren't we kind of going off of it? I was the biggest one, one of the biggest ones to be talking about why are they even in the tournament with a record of 28-27, and then they've gotten in and they've caught fire. It's almost it almost resembles Ole Miss a few years ago.
Exactly. Ole Miss 2 years ago. Nobody saw it coming. They were little known nobody, and Mississippi State won the year before. I mean, it's crazy. So now we have what? We have four. This will be the fifth year in a row a different SEC team will win the College World Series.
Tennessee just went up 6-0, so it does look to be headed that direction, man. And and more than likely another SEC final here. So all SEC finals. So it did start out as the SEC versus the ACC. You got one remaining team, but they've only got 3 innings left, 9 outs left here for Florida State to try to climb back into this thing, and they're down by 6. But hey, Tennessee had to come back in the last game. Maybe Florida State can work some of their magic and get it going. LSU, Jeff, anything else you want to bring up?
One question.
Yep.
So with this Florida State, seeing baseball like this where SEC dominates, does it help out Florida State joining the Big Ten or the SEC?
First, they got to get around that TV rights deal in the ACC. So they've got to climb that mountain first, and then I think the next logical step for FSU is the SEC. I don't think it's the Big Ten.
See, I think I'm hearing a lot of Florida State fans saying that they want to go to the Big Ten. They would prefer the Big Ten.
Well, yeah, wouldn't you? You could win more there.
Baseball-wise. I mean, I think either way.
No, I think football-wise.
You think that they would run the Big Ten in football?
Yeah, Big Ten doesn't have what? Speed.
Okay.
Florida State.
Except for USC.
Okay, and now Oregon's coming.
Yeah, but USC doesn't have. They're like 11 on 22 out there.
And they just lost some big-time recruits as well.
Right.
I'm wondering how much longer Lincoln Riley is going to be there with the way that the defense. They've lost 2 big-time defensive commits. How much longer can you hold on to Lincoln Riley?
Lincoln Riley gets let go after this season. He goes to Chicago to coach Caleb Williams as the offensive coordinator.
Oh, nice take.
Well, the Bears have really done miserable in coaching ever since Ditka left.
They made it to the Super Bowl in
Smith made it once.
07?
06?
07.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, they lost to the Colts. They actually, I don't want to say they weren't that bad, but, Peyton was going to win one. You knew it.
That's the
At
one.
least with the Colts.
Devin Hester had he had the opening kickoff return touchdown. Yeah, that was a wild game.
Everybody remembers. That's what everybody remembers. Devin Hester.
Well,
He was a
it's
beast,
like when Florida played Ohio State and the
Ted Ginn Jr. I was going to say Terrell Pryor. Like, no,
but then it was like
they smashed
60-7 or something after that.
They smashed them, man. That was a wild game. I remember both of those games pretty vividly. Not all of the facts, but when you bring up those games, those are the things that stand out to you. Devin Hester's kickoff return, Ted Ginn Jr.'s, because pretty much for the rest of the way, the other teams
what stands
dominated.
out to me about that game?
What's that?
Michael Bush doesn't get hurt game 1 for Louisville. Florida doesn't make the national championship. Louisville does the same thing to Ohio State.
Wow.
What if Wednesday?
Mm-hmm.
What if Wednesday? LSU,
hey, let me bring up a what if real quick.
All right.
USC, when Caleb Williams didn't play the Rose Bowl, I don't know, whatever bowl it was. I don't even know which bowl it was, but that the backup quarterback came in and he threw like 6 touchdowns like the first half. This guy looks like he might be like a stud.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so if
Miller
USC,
Moss.
I'm just saying a what if, okay?
Mm-hmm.
USC doesn't play Ohio State in the regular season. Oregon does. USC slips into the Big Ten championship with Ohio State. That's an outside chance, I know, but it's a thought in my head for some reason.
And FSU has 1 loss and gets left out by both of them.
No, but I'm saying just in the Big Ten.
Yeah, Big Ten championship. Not
I'm talking about as the Florida State's now 13.
Oh, I'm really interested to see those teams from the Pac-12 because of their conference, their conference schedule that they had in the Pac-12. You would have weeks where it's like, all right, this game doesn't matter as much. Now in the Big Ten, you're going to be playing an Iowa team who lacks offense, but they bring it with the defense. So are you going to be able to week in and week out kind of bounce back? So I think that's going to be interesting. But the Pac-12, honestly, we do got to give it some love last year, right? I mean, you had Washington there. Oregon was playing lights out football. Oregon State. So yeah, there was some good competition there. I think it's going to be a rougher go than what people imagine. And then this year, Oregon is not the same Oregon team that they were of last year. Now, I feel like they've replaced people pretty good. I can't remember off the top of my head who the transfer is coming over there. Oh, it's Dylan Gabriel, right? Yeah, from Oklahoma over there to Oregon. They so I think that Oregon could be in a good position. Washington's not going to be the same.
Michigan.
Well, Michigan. Yeah, I mean that's another factor too, though, is Michigan's kind of retooling. So it does seem to be Ohio State and everybody else. So what would you rather see? Would you rather see Ohio State and USC or Ohio State and Oregon?
Ohio State and Oregon. Well, okay, for starters, I hate Ohio State.
Same.
So, but I mean, I don't know. I kind of like the way that USC plays football because they're like wide open and it's exciting, a lot more exciting than Big Ten has ever had. And I don't like Oregon fans. They just talk too much. It's like, just shut up. You never won, So, I don't know.
I don't think I've ever really noticed that from any Oregon fans, but I don't know a ton of them, though.
Oh, no, you should listen to these guys. And they irritate Washington more than anybody. It's like Washington fans they're just done with them. They're like, just shut up. You've never won. You lost two titles that we can think of and can't remember past that. So it's probably just two.
But they got Nike.
Yeah, and they have a great, setup for track excellence, and they never win at track.
Oh, LSU Jeff, we do got to run to a break, though, my man.
Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Oregon has changed the game of football, though, right? Because, look, across all universities these days, you're seeing a wild amount of uniforms, and I think that's fun for the athletes and a great recruiting tool as well. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We're talking superstitions when we get back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
Well, I got 2 or 3 things here I just want to say. Now, Dr. Chad would like this one. On your Roadhouse comment earlier,
yes.
I just want to, that you sewed yourself up. Who graded the needle?
Hang up.
You got to know, Coach
Hang up.
Weekday morning 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Wednesday evening. As we head into tonight, partly cloudy skies and a low of 78 with a moderate breeze out of the east around 14 miles per hour. For tomorrow morning, mostly sunshine and a temp near 87. In the afternoon and evening, a chance of thunderstorms and some sun and a high around 90. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
It's the Dolly Southern Sweets Collection, available now only at Krispy Kreme Donuts. Sink your teeth into the chocolate cream pie, or how about the Southern favorite banana pudding pie? Or the Southern sweet peachy king cobbler. Last but not least, try the Dolly Dazzler. And wash it all down with the peachy king lemonade chiller. All delicious and available only at Krispy Kreme Donuts. In front of HCA Hospital on 23rd Street in Panama City and on the Ross Clark Circle in Dothan.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
WVLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. It is hour number 2 of the Afternoon Underdogs. You're tuned in to ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 right here in Panama City and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. So
David Hayes along with AG, Chef Ross, and Caveman
Finish
Rick.
it up for me, man.
There we go.
Goodness gracious. That Mountain Dew's getting to me. We want to talk a little bit about superstitions today. I put a little Facebook post up. If you guys want to text yours in to 850-215-6290, we will read it off. Fan superstitions or your favorite player superstitions. I've got a list of a few guys here who I had no idea, guys and gals actually, had no idea had these particular superstitions. Do y'all want to start with well, we're going to start with a Facebook from our comments here. Ryan Mulvey, the host of the Inside Drive, wearing the same outfit for each NFL game. Now, I used to try to wear a Titans jersey for every NFL game until all 4 or 5 of my Titans jerseys are no longer Tennessee Titans, so I have no one. And I really don't like wearing past players of my team's jersey like for the game or whatever. You know what I mean? The same way with the Braves. Like the only one I got standing left is Ronald Acuna Jr. and technically he's not even standing right now.
So with that, it depends if they're retired or go to a different team.
You're retired, that's 100%
I will wear my Brett Favre jersey all day, every day.
Oh boy, that's a touchy one
that's
these
what
days.
that's what I was going to allude to, right? Like your Derrick Henry, you could probably still wear in a couple years once his career is done, because at that point, not only was he an Alabama Crimson Tide, but he was also on your favorite team in the NFL. And just because he went off like Brett Favre did to the Jets and the Vikings doesn't mean that he's not always going to be a Packer. Like I have a Chad Johnson jersey, right? Just because he went off to those other teams doesn't mean he wasn't one of my favorite Bengals at the time.
Yeah.
So like they're still wearable.
And I've got a Delaney Walker jersey as well. That's the same way. Julio Jones jersey is the same way. Like I'll wear those jerseys, just not on game day. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so, cause I love to wear a jersey on game day. Like I'll probably show up to the fantasy draft like I normally do, at least for our league one or for our private one, you know, with the Derrick Henry jersey on, man. So yeah, there you have it. Same outfit for each NFL game for the host of the Inside Drive, Ryan Mulvey. Tyler Bishop chimes in. He says, this is for my dogs. How else will they win if I'm not wearing my same polo every weekend? Bo Green says, sometimes I'll match my outfit to my team, so whatever they're wearing, I'll match it. Like right now for the College World Series, when FSU plays, I don't watch us pitch, only when we're hitting. Very superstitious. I get that, though. I mean, I'll say I don't think that there's any reality or validity to the way that we go about thinking about these things, but I love it. I think that the quirks are awesome, man. Let's see here. Mike Howdy, he says that as a fan part is tough. If you're winning, don't change seats. If you're losing, anything is fair game. Are you more superstitious when your team is winning or losing? I would say I'm more superstitious when they're losing. Like in a particular game, if they've had a winning season to that point, I'm like, all right, what am I doing wrong today?
Well, or is that inside the game, right? Like it's, the first half that you all were down by 14 points. You moved spots on the couch. Sorry, Sheldon Cooper. Sorry, Sheldon, but you're going to a different spot on the couch, and they start winning and they start playing better, and then you switch back and they start losing again. Then there's maybe a little bit of, in our own mind, validity to it. But I would understand that one.
I understand them all. I don't care if they're off the wall, crazy. I read some today when Vince Young was playing, there would be fans who, the opponent of the team that Vince Young and the Titans were playing, they would put pictures of like the star player on the other team on Barbie dolls and go out there and barbecue the Barbie dolls. So like a little voodoo action there outside of New Orleans. Dave Ford, Coach Ford says, standing in the same spot in the house if something really good happens. I'm with that. If something really good happens, just stay right there at that particular spot. I think that's a good one. Travis says, never let a fan of a rival team wear your team stuff. My wife, who's a Florida State fan, wore my Gator shirt to bed Saturday, and they lost to Texas A&M. Jordan says, how about that, though? How do you feel about that? If you're like friends with someone, let's say you bring them to the game. I know a couple of times that I've went to Florida State games. I wore Florida State stuff going to the game.
My thing is like if somebody gave me Dan Issel's game-worn jersey from Kentucky, I still couldn't wear it. I couldn't have it in my house. I'm not participating in any way, shape, or form in that. So, if Travis's wife wore a Kentucky shirt, then shame on him. Or wore a Florida State shirt, shame on him.
So, yeah, you go into Florida State wearing a Florida State shirt doesn't really make it a difference. You go into an Auburn, Ole Miss game wearing Auburn stuff, that's what they're talking about.
I am wearing no Auburn stuff at all. Unless you pay me, then that's a different situation. But probably still not then, man. I just think that is sacrilegious to don anything Auburn, man. I hate Auburn.
Right here on ESPN Northwest Florida, you're home for the Auburn Tigers.
I'm just keeping it real, though. Like, I love putting their games on and stuff, and I mean, it's great when they're doing good. I think it's actually better when Auburn is doing good because it makes the Iron Bowl so much better. But that's just the way I was raised. Let's go over to Wright State Chris and see what he's got to say. Wright State Chris, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. What's up?
How y'all doing today?
Man, wonderful, good, bro. Just at least 3 out of 4 of us are not kicking babies.
Well, you got the right one kicking babies.
What you got going today, brother?
Sorry, I don't want to throw off y'all's momentum. I wanted to comment on last thing, but first I got a question. Outside of Sandy Koufax, has Devin Hester made the Hall of Fame with playing less than anybody else, do you feel like? Like, when you consider the actual playing time that Devin Hester had. I would say snaps, but do kickoffs count as snaps? Like, the only play that isn't involving a snap, right? Like, do you all agree with me on that one?
The ball was in play, so, I mean, I would consider it a play rather as opposed to a snap.
Yeah.
But I feel like Devin Hester making the Hall of Fame, like, less than, like, his playing time was much less than anybody else that has made a Hall of Fame. That's basically my question.
So, for me, I guess I would agree with the sentiment of the question, like as far as him playing way less than what the other guys in the Hall of Fame was on the field, a lot less than what the other guys in the Hall of Fame were. But I'm one of those guys that if you're famous for something, like, and Devin Hester was, like, he made a huge impact on the game. So for me, I'm completely content with him being there. But I'm not too hard to please when it comes to Hall of Fame stuff.
I'm okay with him being there, right? I mean, he was probably the best ever at that particular position. Now, the problem that we're going to see moving forward is that his position, quote unquote, is now defunct, right? With the safety rules
and make it better
and all this. Well, it's going to put him more in a position to be the guy because there's not going to be anybody else to challenge him, right? Just like Nolan Ryan's records in baseball are never going to be broken because starting pitchers are now prima donnas that aren't going to go more than 175 to 200 innings in a season,
right?
Because they're all going to get pulled after 5 or 6 innings. They don't throw 200 pitches a game anymore. So while that's evolved, Devin Hester, and don't get me wrong, I hate the guy for what he did to Louisville down there in Miami, man, when we had a really, really good shot of beating them. It's Frank Gore on that team as well.
Yeah.
But what he was able to do and able to do it at the highest level, I mean, he did it in the Super Bowl. We just talked about that. So
the younger Brom was the quarterback then, right?
It was actually Stephon LaFours was the starter. Brian Brom came in as a freshman that season, and he played in spells. So, like, they did like a 2-system quarterback, but Stephon LaFours was the main guy that year.
I feel like with Devin Hester, he's one of the only dudes where, all of you will have a different quarterback as your best quarterback. Jerry Rice might be y'all's best wide receiver, but when it comes to kickoff returner, I don't think you can name somebody that you think's better than him.
Deion is close.
Deion's close. There's another one that his name is
the guy with the Chiefs, are you talking about?
Yeah, Dante Hall. He was someone that I would put up there with him, but would never say he's over Devin Hester.
Dante Hall just has a cool story because he was like a beer delivery guy and like they found him off the street and put him in a uniform and said, go run. And that's what he did.
There you go.
And one last thing I got to get going, but my What If Wednesday goes back to Cincinnati basketball. And I know you guys aren't going to know most of these guys, but if Huggins got fired and he was bringing in, y'all remember OJ Mayo and Michael Beasley?
USC.
Yeah. So Michael Beasley, Bill Walker went to Kansas State, and OJ Mayo were all supposed to go to Cincinnati that year. Devin Downey was an all-SEC. He transferred to South Carolina. He was an all-SEC point guard. A guy named Jamal Butler, he was from Lima. He ended up playing at Ohio State. He was supposed to go to Cincinnati too. So I know why they fired Huggins, but Huggins' class coming in was legit. So my What If Wednesday is if Huggins wouldn't have gotten fired, that class would have been insane.
Bigger what if for Cincinnati basketball would have been what if Kenyon Martin didn't blow out his knee that year, because there was not a team in college basketball that could compete with that team.
That's one of my only college basketball games. I saw them play against Quentin Richardson in Chicago when Kenyon Martin took over the game in the last 3 minutes. You can actually look it up. And then DeMar Johnson hit the game-winning shot. Quentin Richardson actually hit a game-winning shot, but it was right after the buzzer sounded, and you could hear a pin drop in Chicago. It was awesome. But anyways, guys, I got to let you go. Thanks for giving me some time. I really appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great evening.
All right. Right State Chris, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get back to our superstitions here. We've got one on Facebook. Braves or FSU must watch from the beginning. If he misses the first pitch or kickoff, he will not watch.
Ooh, no.
The rest of the game.
I'm too busy for all that.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss.
I would never watch sports.
Right.
I would never, most of the time. I mean, seriously, though, if I had to watch.
God invented DVR.
Well, I guess I would watch all teams that weren't mine. Now, NFL, when it comes to that, I'm normally, I'm able to. Saturdays and Sundays are a little bit different of a story, but when you're talking about baseball, you're talking about basketball games that start right there at 6 o'clock or so. By the time that I get home, the first pitch is already gone. So I'm not, I'm having to hope for some weekend games. And then again, like if I spend Saturday and Sunday just watching sports, then I will never see the sun, and I'll never, as the kids say these days, touch grass. So and that's kind of, vitamin D is important, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's keep on going with our posts here. We've got Jordan says, well, I haven't washed my Panthers jersey since the playoffs started. He washed it today. Got to get those last 2 games off this thing.
I thought you were saying Carolina Panthers. I was like, that's a long time to be dirty.
No, Jordan is he's across the board like Miami fan, like Florida Panthers, Miami Hurricanes, Miami Marlins, like keeping it real type deal. You know what I mean? So I understand that though. Yeah, get those last 2 games off that jersey, man. Game 6 is going to be absolutely wild up there in Alberta. Rick Ty says the one that I have to do, I wear the appropriate color Braves cap according to where the game is played. So he wears the home, which is kind of the regular blue red with the A logo there, and then the away is just the all blue cap.
Does he wear the City Connect hat?
Yeah, Rick, do you got the City Connect hat to go along with that? Now, we'll save the players for the next segment. I want to go over some of these that I found from the internet, that some of them are pretty hilarious, if I can find where it is that they are. All right, here we go into some other superstitions. This guy rubs the hawk on his beanie every time that they need a big play, and he has to wear the same hoodie that he got at his very first ever Seattle Seahawks game. So I'm hoping that he was an adult when he went to his first Seattle
medium. That'd be awesome if he was an infant, though.
Like, hey, are you pregnant, bro? Like, what's going on? The second one we have here is he has a set of 3 statues that he got for Christmas years back of the Mannings. It's Archie, Peyton, and Eli. He's a New York Giants fan, or they're a New York Giants fan. So every season they put Eli on a stand under his TV and kiss his helmet before every game.
I'm sure Eli appreciates that.
Especially before the Super Bowl games, right? No doubt. This next one, I could imagine Caveman Rick doing this. I have to wear my Philadelphia Eagles jersey as pajamas. No, Caveman Rivers, no.
Not as pajamas.
Not as pajamas, no, sir. Next one, I sleep with 2 New England Patriot teddy bears, offense and defense, and tucks them in every night. Also, wear only one jersey throughout the season and do not wash it.
Has the dog eaten the offensive one the last couple of years?
That defensive teddy bear better be named Teddy Bruschi.
Yeah, there you go. And I don't wash my jerseys very often at all.
Dry clean.
For me, I
depends
don't want
whose
to
house
ruin
I'm
them.
watching, because that environment can be a little different too, in terms of in the atmosphere.
Are you speaking specifics here? Or?
Just in terms of the atmosphere, the environment,
a little
what it's
hazy
around.
sometimes.
Cloudy,
right? All right. This next guy drinks from my frozen Minnesota Vikings mug with Pepsi when they play at home to provide cold spirits we might be lacking. On day games, I watch from downstairs couch, center right cushion. Sunday or Monday night games, I watch from the upstairs couch, far right for winning team. Lounge for a team I want to lose. Superstitions, it's only weird if it doesn't work. I got to agree with that. And when you're that detailed with it, I'm sure that it works quite often for you. This next person, I'll make the assumption here that this is a female. They paint their nails in team's colors, blue and red. Go New York Giants. Maybe we should start doing that as like an afternoon Underdogs
crew. A lot of Giants things on here.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't even remember where it was.
Nobody Big Fred about the Giants and their superstitions.
This next one, Green Bay Packers. It has to keep my dirty Green Bay Packer laundry at the top of the laundry basket. I mean, that way it doesn't get as wrinkled as the stuff that's at the bottom. But then again, if it's in the laundry basket, it's going to get washed and then dried. And so I guess that doesn't matter.
If it's game day, well, you're not wearing your Packers gear.
Well, fair enough. This next New York Giants, they have to eat pretzels anytime that they need a big play. I've never been a certain food that I've got to eat. Let's see here. We still got 2 minutes here. I thought it was 5:20. I can't check my fantasy team while the Dallas Cowboys are playing. Would you, if your team's playing, are you checking fantasy?
Yeah.
I am overly checking fantasy football. It's ridiculous.
I'm definitely checking fantasy, but I'm also real team over fantasy team.
Yeah.
Say my team's going up against Jordan Love. I don't wish him to break a nail or not play in the game. I want him to beat me by 1,000 points.
I'm right there with you. And the thing that stinks is so if your fantasy team is, you got no luck in that week or whatever, it's at least your real team can possibly save you. But when you lose both of them, that's just a tough week, right?
It is. The tough thing, though, is say your team's playing on Monday night. Everybody else is done. Mm-hmm. You're down by, 17, 18 points. You need an opponent of your favorite team to beat that margin, right? To get that margin to beat them. So you want them to do well enough that you win your fantasy, but not well enough that you lose the game.
Okay. So I'll say 14 out of 16 weeks. Go, dude, I hate. Those 2 weeks. Ugh.
Right.
Man, this next one, this is a pretty good one because a lot of the times don't we play that reverse psychology card or whatever. So I always wear the team of the LA Chargers, who they're playing, the opponent. Whoever I root for usually loses. So there you go.
Is that Ryan Mulvey?
that might be the way to go. Before the first Green Bay Packers game of the season, I switch my phone's background to a pic of Vince Lombardi. I think I do that with all of my teams for the most part. It's whenever a team is in season, I will sometimes, I haven't changed the background in a while, but I'll put a Titans background when it's NFL season. Alabama, sometimes college football, so sometimes I'm alternating back and forth there. But I think it's been about a year or two since I've even changed my background.
I used to do the Go Pack Go ringtone.
Oh, there you go. Ringtones just aren't as big of a deal these days,
I haven't
man.
changed it forever.
I remember when I was in high school, we would download on Mixer.com. It was MYXR, and you would just go put in whatever song it was that you wanted. You would add the snippet, snippet where you wanted to, and then boom, you got an awesome ringtone or ringback tone, whatever. Ringback tones aren't even a thing no more at all, are they?
I don't think so.
Maybe if you call a Verizon.
Maybe if you call Caveman Rick.
I don't think Caveman Rick's got a ringback tone.
I don't. I only have one ringtone on my phone that I've had for a very long time, and it's the Halloween music, and that's it. It's all I need.
There you go.
Yeah, remember personalizing for all like 400 of your contacts?
Oh man, golly, back in the day. And it's wild, like in this era of technology that we're in, we're, much more advanced than what it was when we were in high school and whatnot, that kids aren't doing that. Maybe they are.
I mean, I have ringtones for certain people, right? So like my wife has a certain song. My dad is like the Superman theme. Right, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that way, at least if I'm not around my phone and I hear it ringing, I know who's ringing to.
About the only time that I ever have my phone off of vibrate is if I'm like outside working or whatever and got it on the charger or something. So it's been a long time since I've had that thing off of silent. Let's see here. What do we got? I have to watch the last 2 minutes of the San Francisco 49ers game standing on my coffee table. How did that get, you know what I mean? How did you get to a situation where, all right, boom, this is the position. This is the position.
I mean, it seems kind of anticlimactic if they're just in victory formation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There you go.
The next one's pretty fitting.
I was about to say this one. It's got to be a few years old here because it says Oakland Raiders fan, but Las Vegas Raiders fan, nothing I can do to help. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Quick time out, and we'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Are you tired of dynasties? Sick of seeing Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs hoist the Super Bowl trophy or the Oklahoma Sooners in their 4th consecutive softball championship? Then you should stop what you're doing right now. Go to ESPNPC.com and vote for the Afternoon Underdogs for Best of Bay. As Americans, I like to think we still root for the underdogs. It was just over 200 years ago that the British blew a 13-colony lead, and now here we are. Vote for the Afternoon Underdogs today.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Wednesday evening. As we head into tonight, partly cloudy skies and a low of 78 with a moderate breeze out of the east around 14 miles per hour. For tomorrow morning, mostly sunshine and a temp near 87. In the afternoon and evening, a chance of thunderstorms and some sun and a high around 90. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
Discover the most convenient way to buy men's clothing. Pierce Bespoke. Whether it's custom or casual, they come to you to take the hassle out of shopping. If buying off the rack doesn't work for you, let Pierce Bespoke show you how to get the perfect fit. Call Pierce Bespoke to schedule your appointment. 251-278-8270. That's 251-278-8270.
We're live and local. From Camp Helen State Park to the historic Martin Theater.
Definitely time to let our hair down and have some fun.
It's the Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. This is the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in beautiful Panama City, Florida, and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. Don't forget, tomorrow on the Inside Drive, we're going to be playing a little bit of trivia for the Braves family 4-pack that we're going to be giving away on the Inside Drive. And then Friday, we'll be doing the same thing. It'll be a little bit different. I'm going to have up to 10 questions for you guys. You're going to have to answer as many as you can consecutively. If you get to 10, then you will go into the final drawing or however it is that I'll have the head-to-head face-off. I don't think anyone's going to answer 10 in a row because I'm going to start them kind of easy and then work their way up, and it won't be the same question.
Is there a phone a friend?
No, this is not Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, because I'm not going to ask the questions. I'm not going to ask the questions until we get you live on the air. Gotcha. So and I'm going to have a timer set up, because if you're Googling it, for all the other trivia questions, yes, That's if you guys want to Google it, I can tell most of the time when you guys are Googling it. That's fine. You know,
we just want to give stuff away.
Exactly. That's all I'm here for. But when it comes to this one, and we do want to give this away, I want to, kind of make it fair for everyone. So, in fact, just go home tonight and Thursday night and study about the Atlanta Braves. Johnny Yankee Seed said his superstition when he hit home runs, I didn't like to be touched rounding the bases until I touched home plate.
Sorry, third base coach.
Yeah, there you go. I never hit a home run, so that was not my forte in the game of baseball. For me, basically the basic ones when it came to baseball, not touching the foul line, and just I can't really think of any other ones off the top of my head that I abided by. I think there was Rally cap, late in games, don't wash your socks, when you're on a hitting streak, that kind of stuff. So my socks were always smelly, baby. But yeah, so let's get into these player superstitions. If you guys know any players or superstitions about some of your favorite players or famous players or whatever, send them in to us and we'll read those off as well. One I did not know about, one of the greatest of all time. A lot of people would say he is the greatest of all time in the sport of basketball, Michael Jordan. So apparently, when he was leading the Chicago Bulls to 6 NBA championships during that career, he had his North Carolina practice shorts, the baby blue practice shorts, underneath his uniform in every game. I had no idea that he did that. That is something you've known for a while?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. What's one that stands out to you on this list, Chef Ross?
All right. The one that stands out to me is definitely baseball related. Can't find it on your list, but I got it on mine. Jason Giambi and a few of his teammates would wear a gold thong to break up a slump.
I think that I want to say the Yankees, was this when he was with, no, this is when he was with the Rockies. So yeah, that's weird, but I think that there's been other teams that have done that. I want to say it was the Yankees who had, like, maybe they were playing a joke about it or whatever, and they had, I can't remember the player off the top of my head, but I think it was a young guy coming up, and he was struggling a little bit, and I want to say it was Jeter told him to, wear the gold thong, but I don't know. I think off the top of my head, I can't really remember that.
I want to say it was Todd Helton, and the whole article I was reading that said, yeah, of course, when you're wearing a thong, you don't care about your stats.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Bull Durham, right? I mean, Luke Lelouch, he gets him to wear the women's panties.
Yeah.
So I've seen it before.
Yeah, there you go, man. Whatever makes you comfortable. It was the Yankees. So A-Rod was in on that, according to Johnny Yankee Seed there. So impressive stuff there. Jason Terry, who was there, this is saying the most superstitious player in the NBA. So he would eat chicken before games, just like Wade Boggs. He wore 5 pair of socks while playing, but the most bizarre habit was while he was sleeping. So the night before every game, he would go to bed while wearing the shorts of the next day's opposing team. The compulsion has left Jason Terry tracking down the right trunks on a bad night, but a network of equipment managers and fellow players would help Jason Terry with this. That's an odd one right there. What's one that stands out to you here, AG?
Kevin Romberg says, while this left fielder's 41-game stint with the 82 Cleveland Indians was largely forgettable, his unusual quirks left behind a lasting legacy. According to a long list of pros who play with him, he had the compulsion to touch someone if they touched him. Word of this tick quickly spread throughout the majors, making life a living hell for him. Players would touch him and run, sending him into a panic. In fact, an umpire once had to halt a game between New York and Cleveland because the Yankees players refused to stop touching him.
There you go. What's another one that you got over there, Chef Ross? Wade Boggs?
No, Loido Machado.
Oh, here we go. This is the one where I brought up the one that might take the cake, right? Because in urinals, you normally find urinal cake. So, Chef Ross, tell us a little bit here about Lyoto.
So, Lyoto Machado's had a form
Machida.
Of drinking his own urine before a fight.
So, this is every morning he would drink his own urine. That is disgusting. But sometimes you gotta be a little off your rocker to be a great MMA fighter, right? Or
And
or do you?
It does bring back Moises Alou, who played in the Major League Baseball forever. He would urinate on his hands to create calluses, and that would stop blistering because he never wore batting gloves.
So instead of lotion, people could just, well, no, that would be the opposite.
Yeah,
this creates calluses. How do you find that out?
I'm assuming the urea. It's kind of like getting a the cubes or whatever that you do in the bath, the exfoliating cubes or whatever.
Yeah,
kind of. I would say probably a similar thing. That's rough. It's probably not the best thing to do, obviously, but hey, to each their own.
To each their own. All right, Patrick Waugh, he would skate backwards towards the net before turning around at the last second. He thought that made the goal shrink. So during the game, he would also talk to the post, thanking them when a puck was deflected and often touching them. That was very interesting there from Patrick Waugh. I don't think there's any others that really stand out to me on this list. You got Turk Wendell. He was the Mets reliever back in the day. He was a maniac when it came to superstition. Some of the things that he would do would be leaping over the baselines when walking to the mound, chewing black licorice while pitching, and then brushing his teeth between innings. He also wore a necklace decorated with the sharp teeth of wild animals that he had hunted and killed. Wendell's quirks extended off the field as well. In 2000, he asked that the New York Mets make his contract $9 million. Wait, no, that's a lot. That's like what? Yeah, that's $9 million.
That's $9 million.
Yeah, $9 million in honor of his uniform number of $99 or of 99. That's man. Make my contract $10 million essentially because my number is 99. Well, there you go for superstitions. If you guys, Nomar Garciaparra, Johnny Yankee Seed says, Nomar Garciaparra handwork after every pitch. I feel like that was his OCD. Oh, like when he would do the gloves.
Sean Casey for the Reds was the same way.
Yeah.
Which I'm so glad that we have the pitch clock there now to avoid all that nonsense.
There you go, man. Oh, we need an update here on Florida State.
6-2 last
7-2 here.
7-2.
7-2. It is in the top of the ninth inning. Florida State is going to need a big bottom of the ninth, or else Tennessee is on to the College World Series. Even if Florida State would win today, they would still have to beat Tennessee another time. So
tomorrow.
What about Florida Texas A&M tonight? What are your guys' thoughts on that? Who do you think is the better team in that
situation? If Florida wins, they still have one more tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take Florida.
Okay, Florida tonight, Texas A&M tomorrow? Or
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes then.
A lot of times in baseball, the hot team beats the better team. So Florida's playing white hot right now.
And not only that, Texas A&M's kind of dealing with some injuries as well. So there is that. And I believe Jack Taney's going to be on the mound tonight for the Florida Gators. So he also, he took the record over for Florida State, or for Florida this year.
75?
Yeah, 75 career home runs. And passing Matt Laporta, that's his 35th home run on the season, which extends his record. Last year he set it with 33. So 68 home runs in the last 2 years. Passing Matt Laporta, which was a great hitter for the Gators as well. And great run so far for Florida, because again, like what we all mentioned, they were what felt like the weakest team with the record that they had, played a very strong schedule, but now here we are. So we will see about it. All right, we're going to move on from the superstitions unless you guys got anything else to add to that. If you could pair one athlete with one musician, this is a good one for you, AG, because this is talk about sports cards. So one athlete and one musician for a signature tunes card.
Is this the Juan Soto Daddy Yankee?
I'm assuming that it is.
From Top Series 2.
I was reading comments today on Twitter.
So Top Series 2 was just released this past week, and there's a dual auto of Juan Soto playing for the Yankees and Daddy Yankee, which I'm assuming is a DJ of some sort. I
think he's an artist, yeah.
Whatever he is. As far as player and musician, man, I don't know. I mean, if you look at, like, if you're a St. Louis Cardinals fan, you've got Adam Wainwright, who's now delving into a recording career. So maybe you do an Adam Wainwright as a musician and Chris Carpenter
so you're just trying to go total sports world on them, essentially.
Well, I mean, it's
because you could have your favorite musician or one of your favorite musicians or artists if they're not playing musical instruments.
Luke Combs and David Wells. two big guys.
There you go. That would be a good card. That would be a good card. Shaq and Kobe's a good one as well. Oh man. For me, I would probably go, man, I don't know any artists from Curacao, but Andrew Jones being my favorite player growing up. I'm trying to think of him. Like, my favorite artist of all time is Lil Wayne, but I don't know how Lil Wayne fits in with a baseball card. What you got?
Snoop Dogg and the Milwaukee Brewers.
Snoop Dogg and the Milwaukee Brewers?
He was just there last week doing a concert, did a great job in the booth.
Oh, he got in the booth?
He did, yeah.
Man, he gets in the booth for every game, for every sport.
He was amazed by Ellie.
Yeah.
Because they were playing the Reds, and Ellie met him after the game, and Snoop signed a ball for him. That was pretty cool.
There you go. I would get Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and then a steak for the beef that they had. Yeah, that's no sports there though. So that doesn't do it for the card world though. Like having it's promotion or whatever.
Yeah, it is. But you're seeing a lot of this right now. Like Series 2 has CJ Stroud that signs in it. It's got Victor Wembanyama that signs in it. They have a dual auto that's in there as well. So I mean, you're seeing a little bit more of this coming across. But I mean, the sports card world has been doing this for a number of years where they'll have cut autos, right? Which is basically, if for those that don't know, somewhere along the line, one of these celebrities or players signed something, and the company has gotten a hold of it, and they've put it inside of a card, right? So like a shell, basically. So you see cut autos all the time. Somebody I was watching the other day pulled a William Shakespeare cut card. When they get it back, it was a redemption. They get it back, and it's a piece of his writing desk.
That's pretty
cool.
Yeah,
right. I mean, because it's history.
Was it signed?
No,
I'm joking.
No, but I mean, there are signatures of dead athletes and celebrities that are out there that you can get. So I mean, it's cool. It's a trendy thing, but for me, it would have to be a little bit more, I guess, focused for me than it would be just to be some random musician or actor, actress, whatever.
That's I guess what it would be cool to have things that correlate well with each other. If you had certain ones like Green Bay Packers, Lil Wayne would be a good one with like Jordan Love or something like that, a Green Bay Packer. So there would be some interesting concepts out there, and I just really, when I put this one down, it was, you're a card guy, Caveman Rick's a card guy. Caveman Rick likes a lot of music, so I figured like between the two of y'all I was going to get some good ideas.
You could do like Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift on dual auto, right?
Yeah, that one.
How do we miss the lowest hanging fruit out there?
Yeah, because we try to keep Taylor Swift's name off this shit. Oh, man. Your Reds.
Yeah.
Tough loss for them again.
1-0.
What was your issue with today's game?
The fact that they didn't put out a lineup that was worthy of an MLB roster.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Hunter Green going, who's been pitching phenomenally well. And then obviously they've had a couple nagging injuries, but if you've got guys on the roster that aren't playing and you have a day off the next day, right? They're off tomorrow. So like for instance, Tyler Stevenson, their catcher, he's done some DHing as well this year. He caught last night in the victory. He was off today, and then he's off again tomorrow. Okay, well, he should be in the lineup as your DH as opposed to some of the guys that they put out there. Because if I'm Hunter Green and I see the manager's lineup card, I'm looking over at him going, what are you doing to me here, man? Like, do I have to be perfect to win this game?
Yeah.
And he almost was. He went 6 1/3 and gave up 2 hits and no runs and 9 Ks, no walks. But Reds lose 1-0.
And that's tough because Milwaukee Brewers feel like they're kind of starting to run away with the division. Is that fair to say?
100%. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the thing is like, outside of Milwaukee in the NL Central with the Cubs, the Cardinals, the Pirates, and the Reds, they're all right there with each other. And they're all chasing the Milwaukee Brewers. But with the Reds not able to win series within the divisions, it's really, really tough, especially considering we only face them 18 times a year now, right, with the balanced schedule.
It's still insane just to look at the standings and see only 4 teams that are above .500 baseball right now in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, the Reds are only 3 games out of a wild card right now.
Yeah, and there's a lot left to go, and there's a lot of moves to be made when we get closer to this trade deadline. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
The Atlanta Braves 7-year send-off.
That is gone!
From ESPN Northwest Florida.
Drew Gerhardt. We are going to be sending you to Atlanta on September 7th on a Saturday to see the Braves take on the Blue Jays. That's coming with your hotel, with your spending cash, your food and beverage at the game, and some great seats at the Xfinity Club. Drew, now what's your excitement level feeling like?
All right. We're going to Atlanta.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Wednesday evening. As we head into tonight, partly cloudy skies and a low of 78 with a moderate breeze out of the east around 14 miles per hour. For tomorrow morning, mostly sunshine and a temp near 87. In the afternoon and evening, a chance of thunderstorms and some sun and a high around 90. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Is your restaurant looking a little tired from the long off season? Is your office a little offish? Start the new year off right by giving them a fresh start. Fresh Start Cleaning is now accepting new clients. Ask about their complimentary hood cleaning services. Fresh Start Cleaning. Get clean again with Fresh Start. Call 850-771-6917, 771-6917, and ask about their complimentary hood cleaning services.
When the sun sets on the Emerald Coast, the freaks come out and play.
Hi, I'm a recovering crackhead.
Hand me that shotgun.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Get on your knees!
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back, and this is our final segment of the afternoon, and it's the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida, keeping you up to date on what's going on with Tennessee and Florida State. The score is 7-2 in the bottom of the ninth. One man on first base and nobody out.
One out now.
So I'm a little bit behind over on this side. Do you think they get it done, or is the season over for Florida State?
It's not looking good.
It is not looking good, but what did look good this year was Carson Dorsey. The American Baseball Coaches Association has announced the finalists. They did this yesterday. He was one of 3 pitchers to be named. This is the Golden Glove, essentially, for the top defensive player at each position. Obviously, he plays the position of pitcher. He's just a junior. He picked off 7 runners this season, which is more than the rest of the FSU pitching staff all combined there. So 3-0 during the postseason. Had a win in the College World Series as well against Virginia. Great season by him, and we'll see how that senior season goes for Carson Dorsey next year if he decides to stay at Florida State, which I couldn't imagine him leaving. Monty Williams with the Pistons. What do you make of that, AG? $65 million he's going to be getting paid from the Pistons after just 1 year, and then you said $20 million that he still owed from the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, so essentially $85 million in money to not coach.
Yeah.
So it was the most lucrative deal for an NBA coach when the Pistons signed him.
Yep.
They didn't have to sign him to that much money.
6 years, $78 million.
Yeah, so now he's still owed $65 million, and he's going to be sitting on his you-know-what and just collecting money.
Next to Jimbo.
Well, this one's a little bit different. I don't know. I remember when Jimbo Fisher was here at Florida State that his son had some sort of health ailment. Mm-hmm. Well, kind of the same situation here with Monty Williams, who didn't even plan to coach when the Pistons hit him with that contract offer, but because his wife was just diagnosed with cancer. So at the end of the day, he might just be he's getting paid a ton of money, but at least his wife is going to be able to benefit from that.
Right, 100%.
So there is that good thing there. But are you surprised only one season with the Pistons, or?
Not in today's NBA climate, man. Like, you've got to win. You got to win right now. Obviously, that team has not been built to win. They've got some talent there, but they're missing a lot of pieces, and it's tough to get free agents to go up to Detroit to play.
Yeah, I mean, he's had good records and across the board, pretty much with the Suns and reaching the finals there. The Pelicans, he not so great. He had 5 seasons with them there, 173 and 221. But that turnaround that he did with the Suns was pretty impressive. We'll see. I don't think you think he's going to get another shot in the NBA? Not, or that he would even want to take another coaching job.
I don't know how the coaching thing works in terms of would he still be owed that money?
Yeah,
if he takes another job,
because you ain't getting another contract like that.
No.
And I would, like, I'd go coach high school ball or something like that. Like, you still can affect the game, and you're going to be getting a lot of money.
Chris on Facebook asked me earlier in the show.
Yeah.
Do I think that Brad Stevens will ever go back to coaching, whether it's NBA or college? My answer to that is, why would he? He's in a primo position in one of the best organizations in sports, one of the most storied franchises in all of sports. And he's looked at in his role as one of the best to do it. So, why would you want to go anywhere else? I mean, unless you just absolutely love coaching more than anything else on the planet, which he may, but he's got a pretty good thing going on right now. By the way, Tennessee just ended it.
So that is a final in Omaha. Great run for the Florida State Seminoles, and congratulations on them getting to Omaha. Didn't work out the way that they wanted. I know Florida State fans are not going to be happy right now, regardless of how this result went down. They're still going to, it's the same situation with college football this year. Like, they're more focused on not making it to the college football playoff rather than the 63-3 loss in the bowl game against Georgia. But that's, it's hard for me to put myself in the shoes of a Florida State fan, like acting like that game didn't exist. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's no doubt about it that you were robbed and you should have been in the college football playoff. There's no doubt about that. I think that they were also like, hey, we don't really got to worry about precedent anymore because we're going to a 12-team college football playoff. And then right on the heels of that, before we even play one round of the 12-team college football playoff, in 2 years, we're going to go to 14. Like, let's at least see how this works out, right?
Right. But, and then you tack on the check swing.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. The check swing, that's what I'm saying. They're going to be still focused on that more so than this game. This game doesn't, like, and I hate it for them, though, because that check swing was a big deal, but also there's 9 innings of baseball. There's a lot of things that can happen, and that's a judgment call right there. How about the Mets being 7-0 since Grimace threw out the first pitch? Is interesting at all to you?
Can you come to Cincinnati and do it?
Yeah, no, you can. But you can pick out another McDonald's character, if you will. You can get the McBurglar or whatever. Hamburglar.
You need the Skyline Chili dude to throw that out for you.
Oh, yeah, right. There you go. So, the Mets, they're going to met it up one way or the other, right?
I think so. I mean, they got talent in the minors that's going to be coming up, I think, probably toward the end of the season, depending upon where they are at the end of the season. But I can't see them being above the Braves and or the Phillies in that division. But, again, like you said, you're going to look at probably a team that's going to be under 500 making the postseason with the wild card.
Yeah. Kyle Alburton says that's what Greg has been up to since leaving the show. Throwing out the first pitch there for the New York Mets. And other news in the WNBA, all we ever hear about or even talk about on the show, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, all that stuff. Well, another one of the rookies, Cameron Brink, she tore her ACL, so she's going to be out for the season, which is kind of a big blow to the WNBA. The success that they've had hasn't necessarily turned into financial success yet, and she was one of those players that was of this rookie class that was providing that spark, if you will. Mm-hmm. So
I felt bad for her. I saw the video, her being carried off, and hopefully the recovery time isn't as long as it used to be, at least on the male side. I'm not sure about the female side on the ACL tears, and this the way their bodies are built and developed, and I don't know if the the rehab stint is longer for them as opposed to their male counterparts.
So the NFL has changed. I'm just switching gears on that because I don't have it.
Yeah, no, I mean, but it's a
yeah, no, absolutely.
To me, it was a legitimate question because I was like, is it the same rehab? Because are they able to, build that muscle back,
faster?
Yeah, or as fast. So I don't know. Just curious.
Yeah, I mean, one day we can. It says that I need to help is available. I don't know what the recovery time is there for an ACL for females. I mean, I've got it right here, but I'm not going to be able to read all of this jargon. I didn't give you anything good out of that. Let's see. What was I going to? Jordan Love. Tua Tagovailoa. Which one of those guys? They're both on the docket to get a new deal. Who do we think gets the bigger deal? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that it's going to be Tua. And I think a lot of other people are on the other side of the fence thinking it's going to be Jordan Love.
With a hard salary cap, I hope it's Tua because that gives more money for more players in Green Bay.
What do you think?
Depending upon how Jordan Love does this season, right? I mean, if he ends up having what essentially would be his sophomore slump, then it might be Tua. But I think what Jordan Love, with the opportunity Jordan Love has in that division, I mean, the Lions are the class of the division, which is weird to say, but it's true. They still have a really, really good opportunity to make some waves up there because if J.J. McCarthy's first pitch was any indication of what he's going to be like as a quarterback, it was scary. But Tua in that division, I mean, he's still got, Josh Allen to go up against as well. So we'll see. But I think Jordan Love probably gets in more of a bag just because I think the salary cap being what it is, it always gets extended, right? It always increases every year.
Yeah.
Jordan Love, his opportunity to capitalize on that is probably going to be greater than Tua's.
There you go. Are you confident in Jordan Love after that first year?
I am.
First year as a starter?
I am. I see a lot of comparisons to when Aaron took over for Brett. I wasn't very happy. I was very, very nervous, but yet he shined. He got us into the playoffs. He got us a playoff win.
A big playoff win. A big playoff win. And a bad playoff loss for the Dallas Cowboys at that point.
But to your point on the AFC East, who's Josh Allen going to throw the ball to? Because he sure can't catch it.
No, but again, they'll figure that out, man. Josh Allen is too talented to be down very long. I think they'll end up finding some pieces to put around him, and they probably already have them in the house. We'll see how it goes, but I think you're going to see a different New England team this year as well. I'm not saying they're going to be good, but I think they're going to probably surprise some people in terms of what they're able to do defensively.
Yeah.
And if Aaron can stay healthy.
And that's the thing, right? The Jets are the biggest mystery to this is, I know you said you had on your sheet is it the Field or Aaron Rodgers for comeback player of the year? And I think it's Aaron Rodgers. I think if he plays a full season, it's his.
And regardless of what the statistics look
100%.
like. Because they've changed the criteria for winning comeback player of the year. You have
the Joe Flacco rule.
Yeah, you got to come back from injury. It can't just be because you played bad. So, and I get that. I still don't think DeMar Hamlin should have won it. I think Tua. I think Tua was in a better spot to win that. I wasn't upset about Joe Flacco winning it just because he's old, man, and you're doing this at that age. I think that's pretty impressive stuff there. So, but Aaron Rodgers is coming back from injury. So, and really, who else out there? Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow, potentially, yeah. He could be in there, especially Cousins. If they make another
Kirk
deep
Cousins,
run.
Yeah.
I think Kirk Cousins is, I think he's probably not actually kind of blacklisted from awards, but with the whole tampering thing, he probably is looked at as, not eligible, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, that's wild, though, because that's not necessarily his fault, is it?
He was participatory.
He didn't tamper, though. It's the team that went out.
Tampered with him.
Takes two to tango, right?
I guess so.
I guess it's like committing adultery, even though you're not the one because the other person is married, but you're still involved in the situation.
There you go, man. Getting biblical on him today. All right, are we buying or selling Kyle Pitts this year?
Buying. I think that offense is going to be a lot different.
Because of Kirk Cousins?
New coaching staff, new direction.
Okay.
Hopefully they understand the feed the studs mentality, because there are some studs on that team. Bijan and, Desmond Ridder isn't going to be there this year, right? So you got Bijan there. You've got
Drake London.
Pitts, you've got Drake London. Tyler Algier is still there as the backup. So you're going to see some different things out of that offense. And I think Kyle Pitts actually shows up. Like honestly, going into the trade deadline last year, I was hoping the Bengals maybe made a play for Kyle Pitts, get him on board, but didn't go that way.
I'm going to sell on Kyle Pitts as far as living up to the expectations, because there's going to be so many.
What expectations? Year 1 expectations or expectations year 4 now?
Right. I mean, there is that side of it, but still, I think that the name that what he's supposed to be is still there, like that great tight end. And I just don't think there's so many mouths to feed for that Atlanta Falcons offense that I just don't think that he's going to be the focal point. Like, I don't think that he has. Bijan Robinson, if we're honest, like he had some good fantasy games last year, right? But it wasn't across the board good every week. No. I think that's who makes the big. I think Bijan
but that was
Robinson
more coaching than it was Bijan Robinson.
Fair enough,
right?
Fair enough. But I think that it's Bijan Robinson who takes that bigger jump. We're all looking at it like, dang, Bijan Robinson is a beast, and not talking as much about Kyle Pitts. That's how I feel like we're going to be talking about it at the end of the season. That's going to do it for us today. You guys have a great day. Coach James Hale Show back at 7. Just remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I.
America's team plays here.
Swing and a miss. Struck him out. That's number 10.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida. Charlie Morton, Max Fried, and Chris Sale lead the Braves' dominant pitching rotation.
That's 18 up, 18 down.
Sponsored by Panama City Toyota, LS Agency Insurance, Bestway Portable Building.